I never sat down and said, oh, I want to be an artist. Like I wasn't in high school thinking, oh, I want to be cool and sit at coffee shops and get tattoos and, you know, do all that stuff and be cool. But I think that there was never a desire. I mean, I would have rather been in a band than be a painter. But I can't sing and I can't play an instrument. I mean, I probably could, you know, but I don't think I would be as satisfied as I am now.
Growing up in Nebraska, Matt Sesow studied for and became a computer programmer. With art barely a thought in his mind, it eventually became a main motivation in his life.
As it always happens, I met a girl, and trying to impress her, she lived in Mount Pleasant, and I was in Adams Morgan, where I'm right now, and I walked over there one night for a date, and she had some of her housemates in the group house. They were art students, and they were sitting around a table, and they all were, you know, fooling around with paint and stuff. And they asked me, they go, "Oh, do you paint?" And I go, "Sure, of course." And that was my first time ever. I started realizing. I mean, I ended up having like, you know, 100 paintings or more after, you know, like a couple months, because I started to deal with some issues of my physical disability that I hadn't really talked about or thought too much through. And I used the painting as kind of like a vehicle for communication, I guess.
As a young man, Matt lost most of his left arm after being struck by a plane while playing with his friends on an airport near his home. Because he was so young, Matt was able to adapt and never really held back. But it was his art that shed light on thoughts and emotions he hadn't confronted before.
I mean, I didn't take myself seriously at the very beginning. I mean, when I first started painting, it was all, you know, it was all about me and all my head and all, you know, just about things that I had been through or whatever. And then kind of what happened is the art, and they write about this, the art can heal. Like the art used as a therapy, or art used as a, you know, way to deal with trauma and things like that. So I think I painted out a lot of the initial emotions, like they're just out of me now. Or at least I'm very comfortable. I don't have nightmares anymore. I mean, it's really amazing how that has gone away. And now, and what I do now more is try to be a little more thoughtful about the painting, like, you know, using my lines or my emotion into something that maybe is about the war, or wars, or about, you know, other people's suffering sometimes, and maybe not so much mine. And they're not all negative. I mean, so I used to get that all the time, was that all the paintings are sad or angry or mad, and it's really not true. I mean, some of them are quite, you know, like they're about survival. They're about rising up. Resistance is the one I really like a lot. So I did a lot of political and disability related stuff. So I just kind of took to it, and it really provided me with a lot of, I guess, a voice or language that I hadn't used before.
Matt took to this outlet, eventually trying to share it with others. Yet, with no real background in art education, it has been a learn-as-you-go process from the beginning and continuing today.
Nobody liked it. People were saying, "Oh, monsters, you know, scary," or whatever, you know, saying how horrible it was. And I agreed with them. You know, I thought my paintings were pretty bad. And all of a sudden, this lady just comes out of the blue and has a heart attack, I guess, and says how I'm this outsider artist, or, you know, raw, or I don't know what it was called, folk art outsider or whatever. And she ended up buying like a bunch of them, and then sent me a contract a few weeks later so she wanted to be my agent. And then what happened, like, you know, 5 to 6 years into it, I started to realize that I was kind of happier painting than I was going to sit in a cube all day. So I kind of started to think about how I could maybe make a living out of this. So what I did is after, I guess, the last .com that I worked for let me go, you know, financial reasons, I decided just to try it, just to work full-time as a painter. You know, people were already there was already a market, and then what I was able to do was kind of lower my prices and increase my output, and that seemed to work pretty well. So now it's, 2007, and I've been doing it full-time now for, I guess, 6 years.
Since he has been painting full-time, Matt Sesow has been able to invest a lot of effort, experimenting in his style of painting and even distribution.
Colors and all that, I mean, since I don't have any art training, I mean, I'm just like, you know, I guess self-taught is they say, or I call it self-teaching, because I'm always learning. A lot of my paint just comes right out of the tube or out of the bucket or whatever you want to call it. I don't do a lot of mixing. I don't do like a lot of blending or like rules. I break a lot of rules, I'm sure, with how I use the materials. I'll paint, like let's say I paint all day and then into the night, and then I'll post my paintings online right away. So I put a lot of stuff up on my webpage the day I create it, and or finish it, and I'll go take a shower, and then I'll get out of the shower, and it's already sold. That's the difference between what I'm doing with this internet stuff versus the classic painters like a Picasso or something like that, who the gallery had to come by or the agent had to come by and say, "Oh, what's new, Pablo?" He goes, "Oh, I did this one 3 weeks ago." Well, that would probably be considered a new painting. But for me, I did it 3 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago, and those are the new paintings.
The idea of starting to sell his paintings on his own goes into the idea of painting them for himself. Matt feels that you can't just decide to be a painter. It has to be based on thoughts, ideals, and emotions.
So I just like impact. I like stuff that's really powerful. I don't necessarily like everything I do. I think a lot of my work's crap, and but I know that there's a level of effort. If I put the effort into the paintings, and that's not just the painting itself, it's the thinking about the painting or the emotion that goes into the painting. People see that. I mean, it is like it's I guess an intangible thing that people pick up on when something's rushed or fake versus something that I've actually put my heart into. That's what painting is so much of, is you are alone a lot, and you can try to go out and be a social artist. Like you can go to all the shows and go to do all the coffee shop hanging out and stuff like that. But I think what happens if you put yourself out there too much, I think it becomes more about the idea of being a painter versus actually sitting down and painting. Because to me, it's like just do the work. It's like the work ethic of just being a painter and just enjoying the paint and being in that, I don't know, the color and the smell.